watch and listen.
Oh my
to the day 'cause
goodness.
It was that cute.
That's awesome. Oh, I love people
I was
sometimes.
just sharing with everyone this really adorable Instagram post that I just read about. It was from a server
Hi.
at some fancy restaurant, and it was about two 7-year-olds who went on a date there and had dinner.
two
It was
7-year-olds.
adorable. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
He looks angry.
How was everybody's weekend?
Is that guy angry about something?
Which
This guy?
Does he need a hug?
This guy?
He probably needs a
They're
hug.
all very
He
angry.
looks pretty mad. Either that or he's laughing really hard.
I feel like the first is probably more. They're all screaming.
Slavic, hello. A blue space marine and not a pile of bodies. How many streams have I missed?
A few.
The pile of bodies is Jason, not Jordan.
No, Slovic said a blue space marine, which I'm making no longer blue.
Oh. Well,
I'm erasing the
it was
evidence.
blue at first.
Pile of bodies.
There they are. Hello, friends. Hello, Wad Tomato. Planes of Passion. My weekend was trying and failing to airbrush 30K Marines.
Dwarf.
Ah. Hello, Planes of Passion.
Hung up the rest of the Christmas decorations. What about Thanksgiving? Do you have Thanksgiving decorations?
Thank you. Wait. Hung up the rest of the Christmas decorations.
Wait, what?
That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I said, where are the Thanksgiving decorations?
Where is Slovak? Where do you live? That's
Are
probably
you-
okay if you're not in the U.S.
Are you Santa?
It's probably okay if you're not in the U.S.
Why?
Because they don't have Thanksgiving elsewhere, so they can do decorations that time of year. They're not sticking another holiday in and
That's true. That's
slopping
true.
over it.
I don't know. I feel like
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that Slavic is from Wisconsin.
Thanksgiving is like part of like.
Don't say it's part of Christmas.
It's like Christmas
Don't
adjacent.
say it's part of Christmas.
It's
not.
Christmas
It's
adjacent.
its
It
own
is not.
holiday.
It is not.
It's its own holiday.
There's no
Yeah,
holiday
there's-
that gets more than the month it's in.
It is not Christmas adjacent. Thanksgiving is a holiday of gathering with family and friends, as Christmas is as well, but Christmas also has religious connotations to it. Thanksgiving does not.
Fair.
They are not the same.
That's
They are
fair.
not the same with you. All the way 100%.
Don't you take
Well-
away my Thanksgiving.
Whoa. Hold on. I'm not taking away anybody's Thanksgiving.
You are.
You
You're
just said that
slapping
there is.
Christmas
You
all
just
over
said
it.
it's basically Christmas.
Well, I might have inferred something to that effect. However,
Christmas
not necessarily
decorations don't go up until the day after Thanksgiving. Yes,
Correct.
Richard Weeds.
well,
Correct.
I follow that as well. We've talked about this before.
Matomatic, I'm not sure what to do here in chat without nagging you guys about fluorescence.
Well, you won't be able to do that for
I mean-
too much longer.
No, that's what he's saying. You can't do it now. We've been working on them for a while.
Yeah. They exist.
We're not going to take decorating or holiday rules from somebody who uses tartar sauce on chicken.
Oh my gosh, I thought we were done with that. Jen, I thought we were done with that.
We are, but I had to on this one. I had to give it to Richard Weeds. I'm not going to say your name just because it makes me uncomfortable to say it.
Oh, Mr. Weeds.
I swear all the time off stream, but that just seems not right to me. Tell it to the Puritans, everything had religious connotations to them. Well, we're not living in Puritan times. We're living in time with Thanksgiving, where it's a day of socially acceptable gluttony.
Socially acceptable gluttony. I like it.
It's the
That's-
one time of year where
the
we're
best
encouraged to
descriptor.
eat a lot.
I'm excited for Thanksgiving this year.
love ourselves some Thanksgiving, but Christmas decorations are more fun. But if you put them up too early, then you're gonna get tired of them.
Yeah, I'm going to clean this out.
5 more weeks and you can change it back. Are you talking about your name? Are you stuck with that name? Did someone like dare you to change it and you didn't know you had to keep it for 2 months?
All right, I'm gonna clean this airbrush because apparently I've been spraying primer through this airbrush, not realizing that it was the airbrush that we don't do that with.
Ah, Huff, good question. What makes Thanksgiving more Christmas adjacent than Halloween adjacent? Why don't we lump it in with Halloween?
It is closer
because it's
visually
its own holiday. That's why.
To it, to be fair.
What smack are you talking? What planet are you from?
Me?
Thanksgiving is not visual
joke.
adjacent to Halloween.
Yeah, it is.
What the
It's all like fall colors.
what crack are you smoking?
It is, yes. Thanksgiving is a fall holiday, not a winter holiday.
You know what? That is the best argument that I've heard so far. It's a fall holiday instead of a winter holiday.
That was Richard Weeds.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna talk about cleaning this airbrush here because I'm gonna take my foot out of my face.
Slavic said, gotta keep the wife happy so the house gets decorated however she wants to keep my mini purchases under the radar. Understand.
Okay. Where did I put the thingamabobs? Oh, they're literally right in front
Memory
of my face.
Gardens, what about Fat Tuesday? That's in the spring.
All right. So, for those of you who are curious about how to clean airbrushes, we're going to do this again. Because I forgot to do it Friday. I think I'm going to start doing this every Friday. Cleaning out the airbrush.
Every Tuesday is Fat Tuesday in your house. Every Tuesday is Fat Tuesday if you try hard enough.
Get some water, get the little scrubby thing damp, and we're going to scrub through the front part of the airbrush. We're going to try and remove any excess dried paint in the top part of here.
Oh, so you're like outside decorations, not just like putting up a Christmas tree.
Keep doing the same thing.
Slavic wants to know, Jordan, why is there a primer-specific airbrush?
We
They had this conversation right as stream was starting.
We did, yeah. So we have a size 2 needle in the one that we use for actually doing airbrushing with, and then we use the size 3 for priming. Because typically you want to have a more focused spray with one that you're applying paint with that's going to be used for highlighting and that sort of thing, versus the larger airbrush needle, which the goal is to send more paint out of the nozzle. So we tend to use the 3, which you can definitely use for applying highlights and stuff too. But we like to use it for priming. And the idea is so that it keeps the primer or the brush to its kind of specific to its task.
So let's be clear. The 3 is your general purpose brush.
Yeah.
It will prime and it will do 90% of your heavy lifting with painting. There's no difference in that. There is no specific priming brush. The number 3 will do everything you're looking to do. You don't ever have to have a number 2 until you start doing advanced painting techniques. So we don't technically need multiples.
Correct.
The things that we do require sometimes using a smaller needle. So I don't want, as a new airbrusher, I don't want you out there thinking that you're doing something wrong because you don't have a specific brush for airbrushing or for
correct.
priming.
Good
That's
to
not
know.
the case.
Puff said, all I heard is one airbrush is for detail, the other is for eating paint.
No,
that's not it at all.
we didn't say any of that. In fact,
T. Schmidt said, Fuse, what is your beastie?
What's
Oh,
my
yeah.
what?
Your beastie, what are you painting?
This is one of the ogres from the new Warcry release. The Gorgers.
Writing that down.
Gorger Maw Pack, I think.
Can you say that all again?
Gorger Maw Pack from Warcry.
Warcry.
So I'm getting a damp Q-tip, and I'm kind of cleaning out all the gunk in the back of the brush here.
How am I going to remember to say this as Gorger, not Gorger? Because it looks like Gorger.
I mean, I'm down to hear it as Gorger. That's funny. I think that's hilarious.
Could be Gorger. I went with Gorger.
Mo, hello.
Mo says he's 6 hours into the End in the Death, part 2.
Yeah.
And is not liking it. Mo says, so far it has sucked.
Yes.
I'm interested, Mo. What is your biggest peeve with it right now?
Utah Valley X-Wing, thank you for the follow. Slavic said no worries for fibers there, Jordan.
No. Generally, no, not with this. I'm not doing things. Okay. The Q-tip is damp, so it will largely keep all of those fibers contained. I'd be more worried about fibers when I'm using a Q-tip to like clean up like an oil wash, or if I was using it on Noosh, for instance. I wouldn't want to use a Q-tip because you're using the dry part to absorb moisture, so there's still part of it that's still dry and a little bit fibery, and you can get fibers on your model as it dries when you're doing that. When I'm cleaning out an airbrush like this, I've never had any issues with doing it this way. And I typically will rinse the back part of the airbrush out and clean everything out, flush everything anyways. So you don't generally run into any issues with that.
T-Schmidt, I do know that gorge is a real word. It just looks funny when you write it out as gorger, Gorger, because it looks like Gorger to me. Plains of Passion wants to know, is my 0.5 needle too big for marine-sized models?
No.
In general speaking, no. A 0.5 is a lot for miniatures, kind of. It puts out a lot of paint, so just be careful on that, because it can overload areas on a miniature very quickly and wind up giving you too much paint. Definitely as you start getting into more detailed stuff like highlighting and things like that, I would suggest getting a 0.3 needle for that same brush. You should have, no matter what manufacturer it is, you should have the ability to get another brush or another needle for it.
Make sure you also get the nozzle to go with it, because the nozzles are specific to the size and gauge of the needle. So you can't really use a 0.5 with a 0.3 or a 0.3 with a 0.2, for instance. It doesn't really work.
Division Ring said, watching somebody glaze always breaks my brain. It looks for all the world like Slow Fuse is just waving a dry brush vaguely in the direction of the model without actually doing anything. And then 10 minutes later, the model is a different color. And gun to my head, I couldn't tell you why.
Yeah, it's having a huge effect, right? I wanted the kind of pale flesh that they have on these guys in the pictures. But, of course, the way GW paints them is not my style. It doesn't have any flair, depth, or neat ambiance to it. So I did these with just primed them black-brown, actually. And then I shot dark purple from the bottom. Then I sprayed white. Or, actually, I didn't use white. I used warm flesh. I used warm flesh down as a zenithal color from the top. Then it's easier to show you, but I don't have my phone.
Hoosiers, thank you.
So I did basically a pre-highlight of black primer and then warm flesh, and then over the warm flesh, or I did dark purple in the shadows and then dark magenta over the top of the model. So it made it this really vibrant, pinkish magenta color with dark purple shadows that you can see. And then you can see part of that like here on the clothing, you know, that really bright magenta. And then over the top of the bright magenta, I did bright yellow green. And the bright yellow green is this that you see, that warm yellow color over the top of the magenta. And so that's going to give me all of my underpainting for the skin. It's going to give me a warmth up on the top, but it's going to be a greenish warmth, so it's going to look unhealthy, like on the knuckles there, right? So it's going to hopefully, you know, which it is right now, it's giving me a very like Frank Frazetta style feeling to the flesh. And I'll do the pale flesh with the red gray. So right now I'm using the Signature Series red gray over the top, which is not really a flesh color, but it's going to give me a really good skin tone with that green and purple and magenta showing through it. And it is all about just glazing it very thin right now. I'm just using a number 4 brush. And I'll have to go back over some places a couple times, but nothing but the water on the brush like I normally do. You see, taking most of the paint off so I don't have a whole lot of pigment on the brush when I go in here to lay color down. That's why it'll look like was stated in chat that I'm not really doing a whole lot.
T. Schmidt said, FYI, I did not finish my kill team in time for the tourney, but I had a great time playing.
Awesome.
Mo said 6 hours in. New characters no one cares about. Old characters no one cares about. The Emperor has... Is it an Emperor? I don't know. It just says EMP. Has hardly had more than a few paragraphs. Same with Sanguinius and Malcador. Hate to say this, but I couldn't wait for him to die off. Good grief. Spoiler alert.
I was about to say, spoilers.
Slavic said, Jason, I believe I remember you mentioned painting cars and motorcycles. How much overlap in airbrush care and the process is there? Obviously, the scale is very different, but is the idea very similar?
Yeah. I mean, the maintenance and the way you use things is all the same. It's just how, you know, big your stroke is, so to speak, right? Like, I have to paint cars and such the same way. I have to take care to not overload paint on a surface. So it's very, very similar. I didn't do a whole lot of car painting. Let's be real here. I always had buddies that painted cars. Motorcycles, I would paint, because there's not very much sheet metal to paint. Painting cars is 90% body work, 10% paint the car. And because I hate body work, cars were not my thing. So I just don't want to give a false impression that I painted cars.
Slavic said, also, I wish it was easier to see what's happening on your palette. I don't understand how you are creating gradients with the red-gray you're using now.
Well, there's really, the gradient is happening because of my brushstroke direction, right? Because the gradient's already on the model. I have darkness to brightness already set up on the model. That's what we call a pre-highlight or a zenithal highlight, you'll hear it called. I've done it with color, dark purple, warm flesh, dark magenta, but I've already set up all my values. My shadows are where they're supposed to be and all that. And now I'm coming in with hue, strictly for hue. I just want this color on the model. So I'm doing very, very thin coverage of it, and I'm moving this color towards the brightest parts. So this brightest part of the shoulder here, if I see darkness like right there, I'll move over into the bright part, right? Then I'll rotate the model, and I'll come from this darker spot underneath and bring brightness up onto the shoulder there. Same thing on this side, kind of work it up to the top, and then same thing down in this little cleft here.
Nadil77, thank you for the follow.
Thank you. Welcome.
And because I'm using a very thin paint, diluting it with the water, lots of water left on my brush, then the color itself isn't automatically covering all of those, and you're seeing a lot of that pink, purple, and yellow, green show through. And what I'm doing is I'm just leaving a lot of water on the brush, so the brush is kind of shiny, if I can get it in the light correctly. Right, the brush is kind of shiny because it has quite a bit of water in it still. Then I load it with some paint, and then I come over here and I take most of that paint off on my thumb palette. You can see how it's very, very thin. So when I go over to the model, I don't actually have a ton of paint on here. But it gets a lot of work done, because I'm not trying to base coat, right? I'm not trying to cover black with white, so to speak. And I can still do textured passes. I can still do everything I would normally do in my painting regimen. But now I've changed that whole back color from this to the red gray. But the red gray inherits a lot of the coloring, right? And gives me that kind of my hope for these was to bring that odd Conan era fantasy palette to bear and make it seem like we had these guys that live in dark caves, coming out to feed in the light. Like maybe some adventurers came with their torches into the caves. So I've got this nice, bright, warm yellow as a highlight to them. But it also is a bruised color with that kind of greenish tone. So it's going to be... And I like that a lot right there.
Gentleman Paints, hello. Good day.
But yeah, this is a study in glazing. And if you're not familiar, right... go over the way that I paint in general. So if I start with a brush that's just dry, pretty dry, it's got enough moisture in it to be flexible and to hold a point, but it's not going to leave like wetness on my skin. It's pretty dry, right? Then when I go get my color, right, and I do a swipe across my snake here, you're not going to see any of the ink through it because it's an opaque paint. So it's going to be very little visibility, okay? So then when I go back over here, and let me set this out like this, right? I go back over, put the brush in my water, bring it out. Every time I clean my brush, I don't squeegee the brush against the side of the cup. I leave as much water as the brush will hold in it, and then I'll come over here, right? And I'll wipe off as much as I need. So that's as much as it'll hold, right? So then I'll go like 1, 2, okay? Then I come over to my paint. Now I've had more moisture in there. I'll wipe most of it off because I don't want a ton. Then when I go to paint with it, right, now I'll start getting that color very, very light, but notice how I can see the lines of what I'm painting. So between full opacity and then almost translucent, I have all of that I can do, right? So I can start migrating it and do a little bit more opacity where I'm seeing less of the line. And as I keep working the same area, eventually, no matter how thin it is, if I work layer over layer over layer, then eventually I'll get to the point to where, it covers it up again. But I'm doing this. I'm glazing to allow more of my color underneath show, right? So that all of that yellow and magenta and purple shows through. So you'll hear me talk about underpainting a lot. And in my style of painting, the underpainting is what gives the model its interest, right? And I typically go with in skin like this, I'll go over it with a skin tone, or, red gray, not really a skin tone, but kind of suiting my needs for alien flesh, or monster flesh in this case. Right? And I'll glaze it over those underpainted colors so that I can have them show through and create all this interest on the model from all the weird colors that it's going to give us. And the more you paint, the more confident you get. This is a very fun way to paint because you can try any color, right? We've done some crazy combos that chat would yell out, like, do, bright yellow green under blue. What does it do? And it gives you like a really cool seafoam, warm seafoam color, maybe, So there's all sorts of things you can do with underpainting. And it takes just a little bit of confidence to explore color and to have fun. And not go with the typical, okay, orcs are green. Yes, but what else can you do with green paint to make it more interesting than dark green, mid green, light green?
Malev said, hot dog, that's looking really cool.
My man, Malev, what's going on?
I've been doing that style a bunch lately.
So this is kind of the before and after. You can see how the red gray is having a tremendous effect on the flesh color, but how all of my other colors are showing through. I've got that warm yellow on the knuckles and things like that are going to give me my highlight spots.
I love that. Yeah, red gray is what he's using on
yeah, it's red gray
on the left right now.
Over the top of this base. And the base is just dark purple, dark magenta, and bright yellow green over the top. You lose a lot of the greenishness of bright yellow green when you put it over the magenta. So it seems more like an orangey yellow. But it still has enough of that unhealthy look to it that for monsters and, things like these gorgers that I can imagine are live in caves and such. One of them's called a cave howler. So I feel like in the box art they're very pale skinned, so they live out of the sun or in the winter.
Avian said purple, green, then flesh glaze, but you had the bright yellow green in there too, right?
The dark magenta, yeah. He said green.
Oh,
right.
Green. Okay, I wasn't thinking of bright yellow green.
Yeah, bright yellow green in this case, because I wanted it to be a little bit more of a highlight. So normally I would use like a camo green on human flesh, but for this monster flesh, I really wanted something that stood out more, seemed more jaundiced, more gross.
Game Delay says, Happy Monday. Funny to get here in time to hear that Jason has a need for alien flesh or monster flesh. I'm not out to judge anyone's diet.
Well, I mean, thanks for that. The fact that you're not being judgmental helps me a lot.
Avian said, speaking of which, how do you see what you are doing with itty bitty models? Readers. Jason's wearing readers right now.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Man, this hose is struggling.
What's the matter?
Oh, this hose is just struggling.
Hose?
Yeah. Can you not hear
Bless
the
my
air
bagels.
escaping from the hose?
Are you using the blue one?
No, I'm using the black one
Why did you switch?
because I want to use the .2.
So put it on the blue hose. I told you the black hose needs to be replaced.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still making noise.
We have a bunch of hoses out there.
Maleb,
Yeah, because you're going to get inconsistent air pressure with it.
I am definitely noticing that.
I think this is maybe my new favorite expression. Blast my bagels.
Well, blast my bagels.
So that looks wild on camera. Mo said, are you working on Leviathan stuff, Jordan?
I've had a hankering to paint a Black Templar Space Marine for a long time.
Thought you were doing mechs today.
Huh?
Thought you were doing mech video today.
Mech video?
Thought you were doing mechs with the wash.
Yeah. I mean, I can.
No, I'm just...
I am going to do a little bit with the not oil wash today.
Jordan is a grown adult and he does whatever he wants.
That's not the case.
That's actually not true.
He is an employee.
I have a job to do.
The I'm a grown-ass man only works sometimes.
Yeah. I'm going to clean this airbrush out. I'm going to go find us a different hose because that's good driving.
Well, I know he-
Ask Gabe. There's a whole box of hoses out in this room with the airbrush, or with
He,
the compressor.
Okay.
He came here on Saturday and was doing that and sent me pictures of it. And when he was telling me that it was bright yellow green, I was the same way. I'm like, no, that can't be right. Bright yellow green over dark magenta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if Gabe is in chat and can hear us having this
Well, the
conversation.
chat can hear us. They can hear the sound.
I know.
So-
That's why I'm cleaning the airbrush out so I can go take care of it. We asked for a hose.
Where's the black hole?
That's right.
Yeah, it's quite aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it can't happen like right this minute because these are hardwired in here, so they have to be unscrewed. They can't just be undone. It's on a manifold. So go turn the compressor off if you would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hose sprung a leak.
Yep. Sorry for the obnoxious noise, chat.
Should be almost done.
Yeah, it's winding down. I should have enough just to finish cleaning out the airbrush here.
Avian said, so you're going to hide the name of Slow Fuse's incredibly impressive, inconceivable, I can't believe it's not oil paint weathering acrylic paint until Black Friday? It's, look in Discord.
Also, I'm literally about to do it right now. Because I was going to airbrush this thing. But,
There's a picture posted in Discord with the name.
Okay.
That's karma for saying Thanksgiving is a Christmas holiday.
Yep.
I mean, I guess.
Hola, Omicron.
Serves me right, huh? Alright. Well, we're going to do a couple of fun things with some not oil wash. I have a bright blue robot.
What? Holy bright blue.
Where's
Is that
Sophie Gray?
turquoise?
Yes, I believe this was turquoise.
Holy mackerel, that's awesome.
So we're gonna do some fun things. I think I'm gonna mix some purple into this not oil wash. Oh, excuse me. I can call it noosh now. Yay!
It is noosh.
There we go. It's called Noosh. Malev said, I'm kind of sad I don't have those Gorgers to try this on.
They're amazing. The Gorgers.
Gorgers.
That did not go without notice there. They're neat models. When I first saw them, I was like, wow, these are awesome. The Gorger was always a horrible model from GW. And these are really bitchin'. And so I pre-ordered. I never pre-ordered direct from GW, and I did it this time. I pre-ordered these and got them 2 weeks after everybody else did because GW things. So that sucked.
Noosh is the real name. Yes,
I
division
felt
ring.
bad that I didn't just go buy it from our local gaming store that does so well around here instead of pre-ordering from GW once it was all finished. But
Division ring said, I thought that was Photoshop to hide the name.
Alright, what colors do you guys want to see me mix into this fun noosh wash that we're going to do on this? Any preferences?
Wait, you painted this? It didn't come this color?
no, he painted it.
No, I primed it and I painted it blue. I'm thinking some green, like a burnt sienna would look really good. I actually think burnt sienna
New
would
wash.
look really, really good on this.
New wash. WSH, kind of like HBY NRD.
Yes.
New wash.
New wash.
Avian says purple.
So the whole reason that we designed this medium is because we love the effects of oil type washes, but we hate the fact that you have to use a toxic chemical to make them work. And also, the dry time is obnoxious because oils never really dry in the same way that acrylics do. So we designed this specifically so that we could get a similar type effect without having to use any of those nasty chemicals. Because a lot of, especially newer painters in the hobby are like, that's kind of freaky. We don't want to mess around with that kind of stuff. So never have an opportunity to try out interesting effects like this.
So we have suggestions of purple, orange, pink, and eclectic salmon. And a reddish brown wash.
I think the reddish brown is what I'm gonna do, or it's gonna be burnt sienna. I think. Oh, and I just got it all in my finger. Whoops.
Muzi said, is Mr. Monument teaching Uncle Adam how to play Battletech? Uncle Adam has painted lots of models.
What's this?
I don't know. It is not. I mean, it's going to be released at the same time as fluorescent, but it's not going to be a part of the set. It's its own bottle. It's a 120 ml like our primers
Yep.
and our glaze and wash
Yeah.
medium.
It'll come in a bottle like this.
Except
Which
it will
I'm
say whoosh.
so excited for. I am unrealistically excited about this product, you guys.
Division Ring said also it's not a real demonstration of oil washes unless you get some Marco Frazzoni Dance Rave Club lighting going on. Use at least 7 colors for this.
So,
I have like 3 back here. There's
So,
some.
for,
I could make this like dance and have the.
for people
the
who are
lights.
less familiar with what the idea of a oil wash is, or what we want to have this wash do, is the Noosh medium will give you a longer open time on your paint. So I can splash all this this paint mixture that I've mixed with 2 parts of the Noosh medium to 1 part of the burnt sienna. And I'm just going to slap this over the whole model. I'm going to get it into all the nooks and crannies. Okay, they're in there. Get it all nice and covered in the gross, messy sludge that's a completely different color.
No, he ruined it. OMG.
Well, you guys will see here in a minute how not ruined this model is.
He hopes.
Yeah, not actually done this mixture of colors before, but I have a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like.
We'll see. Uranium Jones, welcome. Said, new painter here. Really like all your paints I've picked up from my local store. Any recommendations for a plastic mini rack for all these paint bottles? Lots of great options on Etsy.
Yeah, I would go look on Etsy for paint racks.
You can type in Pro Acryl paint
If
rack.
you're
or
looking
even
for
just type
something in
Monument Hobbies
plastic, that's going to be a little tougher. Some people may do custom acrylic lasered ones, but generally MDF or I guess 3D printed. You could probably find some that are in like ABS, 3D printed ABS.
All right. So it's all nasty now. Like dumped it in a big sludgy pile of rust nastiness.
It's not though. I mean, because Division Ring, you're mixing it with a product. Division Ring said, I gotta say though, this idea of a paint medium that requires you to put 10 times as much paint on the model and then wipe it all back off is deviously profitable.
I mean, that's what an oil wash is. Any subtractive weathering is exactly that. You're putting a lot of paint on and then taking 80 or 90% of it away. That's the whole method, right? But what it nets you is that unlike a normal wash where you're putting 100% of the material on and leaving it and it drips into the recesses and darkens things up, it also filters the whole model. It changes the color of everything. This will also filter the model to an extent, but you get to control that more, right? And you can see as he's wiping all of the material away, it just stays down in the cracks.
Yeah, this is...
And you don't have to put that much on there. He's just showing you what you can do.
Yeah.
You don't have to load it up.
Yeah, you don't have to do the whole thing. Just
You can
apply
thin it down, too.
strategically.
Yeah, the world of subtractive weathering is something that stems from military scale modeling. So a lot of artists that have done Gundam scale model, like World War II, planes and things like that, tanks. This is a process that comes from that world. We have acrylic washes in our world, but they don't do the same thing. So,
Yeah, they won't give you the same kind of effect.
Malev said if you're using paint and replacing it, it means you're painting, aka getting your money's worth. Can it do pin washing like oils do?
sure. Yeah, it'll do dot filtering.
Moose said it sounds like a contrast paint to me personally, but I'm often wrong.
Yeah, that's not what contrast paint is.
It's very
Contract
different.
paint is not a paint you can subtract from the model. It goes on like a wash and stays there. Again, subtractive weathering means you put paint on and then you take it off, but how you remove it leaves the paint in the recesses, right? Because you're only able to hit the high spots when you go to remove it with a sponge or a cloth, something like that. So
Contrast paint stays aggressively.
unless what?
Because Game Delay said contrast paint stays aggressively. Like it doesn't come off.
Yeah, it's not meant to be a subtractive weathering.
Hey, for
type thing.
Cammy, hello. Welcome back. Malev said, all right, I'm going to need that medium. We know where you can get it.
It's really good. I feel like we got a hit. I'm really interested to see what the world that uses oil washes in miniature starts to think about it. But
Avian, I got them just a pack of makeup sponges from Target. I don't know that it would even have to be a makeup sponge. Could you use just any kind of sponge?
you could use a paper towel
You use paper towel.
as long as the paint you put down on it is, dry and that you're not
Yeah.
using something abrasive that's going to move paint off the model. You can use whatever you want. I prefer the makeup sponges because they have angles to them
Yeah,
that you
the
can get
angle
down into
part.
recesses.
having this
and-
here-
Seems handy, but you could really, you could get a sponge and cut it into pieces too, I'm sure.
Man, I love the way this looks.
When will it be in local shops? It depends on each shop. They have the ability to start ordering it now, with the goal of shipping it out to them next week.
As early as next week, yeah.
potentially. But with the Thanksgiving holiday, it might be the following Monday.
Is next week Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I know.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. I didn't realize that until this morning.
Yeah, it's nuts.
But yeah,
I thought we still had 2 weeks.
No.
just to show you where we were at before.
Yeah, and look how quickly.
This
That's
is like one
crazy.
and done. Like you could paint some of the other bits and bobs in other colors, do this filter over it with Noosh and whatever color you want, and then you're done.
Are you gonna do another one?
No.
You weren't gonna do the other one?
No. But I am going to do some dot filtering. So we're going to do that on this guy right here that I have prepped specifically for the occasion.
Gabe, if you are listening, can you make a note to maybe clip that part that he just did with the wash? Phoenix Mercer said, hey, did you ever get your Leviathan boxes painted? Just got mine. Just wondering how far behind I am.
Couple years, like us.
Oh, awesome,
You're
Gabe. Thank
good.
you.
Okay, so I want to get a couple of other colors here. Maybe get... So when doing dot filtering, you want to use a couple of different colors here. You don't want to use the same color, because you want all these colors to kind of blend together really nicely. I'm going to mix up a couple here.
Malev, it'll dry pretty quick, right? The oil wash.
Within
Yeah.
10 to 15 minutes after you're done messing with it.
Yeah, so it's already started to dry. You can see, some areas where I was pressing a little too hard with the sponge and starting to take up some paint because I was pressing too hard. You don't need any pressure at all. You just need to go really light. Also, I had just primed and painted this model like pretty close before stream, so the paint hadn't gotten a chance to completely cure yet. But yeah, it'll take a little while for the paint in the recesses to completely dry. But the surface is, I could paint on top of the surface right now if I wanted to. Like, I'll take some turquoise and I'll just show you guys. Because this is something that you can't do with oils. If you're painting with oils and you get your oil wash down, you can't go back and touch that until it's dry. But here I can go back and I can do some edge highlights.
You want to be careful because it's still wet in the recesses. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to hit the recesses, but I'm going to hit these edges that are already dry.
Yeah, Evian said, when I did my limited work with acrylic weathering, I found using Q-tips that did not leave cotton on the Mini a plus. Not familiar with makeup removal sponges.
Yeah, there's also like, I forget what they're called. They're like mascara, like Q-tip things. They're not really Q-tip. Jen, you might know what.
The little spoolie part? The part that you put in the...
No,
on your
it's
lashes?
like a makeup removal. Like, it's got a spongy end, but it's kind of like a Q-tip. It's like a... I have some at home. I'll bring them in.
Oh.
Plastic handle.
Yeah, and they have just kind of like a... It's not necessarily like a wedge. It's more of a rounded shape. But it's definitely really good for getting into nooks and crannies.
They do make little spongy, like eyeshadow applications that are
that's
like
what it is.
little plastic. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And those you can find at like any drugstore.
Yeah, you can get those anywhere.
Yeah. Pretty inexpensive. Let's see. Batsnat said, found out Friday that my FLGS just connected with a distributor that carries Monument Hobbies stuff. So far, they just brought in the sets and can special order individual stuff, but Pro Acryl is on the shelf in Tacoma at Silver King Games.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Very exciting. You know that store, Jordan?
I do not actually. Having lived in Tacoma, I'm surprised I haven't heard of that store. It might be further south. I lived in North Tacoma. So mine was what was the name of that store? I don't remember it off the top of my head right now.
Lots and
Batsnat
lots of
would know.
stores. We're adding new stores all the time. New guy Philip is hard at work with the team getting new stores set up. So check the FLGS link, see if there's anyone new, or maybe not a new store, but maybe the line is new to them in your area.
I should actually reach out to that store. He's a friend of mine. I'm sure.
Terra Crux Games?
Yeah, Terra Crux. Yeah. But yeah, you can see how I can just paint on these edge highlights, no issues at all.
Yeah, when we did the other one, I did it with warm brown, and we were able to let it sit for about 15 minutes, Malev, and then dry brush the highlights over it.
Yep.
Without smearing any paint or anything. But no varnish needed, nothing.
Well, Tomato said I was playing Warcry at my FLGS yesterday, and they had all the Monument stuff in stock, even a Go Bag Evo.
Awesome.
Nice, very
Well,
cool.
They are the cool kids.
Yeah, the Evo has been a big hit at the shops.
Spatsnat said Silver King Games is new, only a couple years old.
Oh, okay.
Two shops you frequent both carry Pro Acryl, but you don't buy it from them currently. Get it directly from the source. The Evo is the only one we offer right now. Is the Evo. Lev said, I'm waiting on a thing insert thing from Black Site for the Go Bag. And I'm going to go vocal. Gets in position.
Alright, let me get a nice kind of bright gray.
Yeah, Blacksite Studios made a MDF insert that holds minis with a rubber band system that's really cool. We have one here. Colin wanted a way to tote his minis in his go bag, so he made one. I love it.
Alright. So I got 3 colors here. I'm going to start putting them on the tank. I'm going to grab my wedge brush out. There we go. Actually, I might use the dry brush for this. So we're going to put little dots. Go for the surface. I'm going to do this little section at a time.
Oh, thanks, Omicron. I was wondering because we didn't get a pickup at our normal time. I haven't heard anything from the team about whether or not it's gotten picked up. They usually don't alert me until it's a little bit closer to like closing time. But I kind of figured they might be just because of the holiday Saturday. And we had just a kind of a crazy busy weekend.
Yeah, tons of orders.
Yeah.
All the locals celebrating that our soccer team won the championship.
Huh?
I'm going to take a brush.
The Arizona pro soccer team won their first championship. They won the whatever the champion cup for U.S. soccer is.
I don't know.
For men's. That's exactly what I said. I was like, wait, we have pro soccer in America? Phoenix somethings.
Rising.
Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Slavic said, with the fast dry time of Noosh, how long are your mixes good?
Oh, they stay good for a long time. Like, you could do entire squads, possibly an entire army with the mix.
T. Schmid wants to know the ratio mix for the dots, Jordan.
it should be roughly 50-50. These ones were
Gumby's sister. Gumby's sister said,
didn't
I
put
still
enough
need to
on.
figure out how to use the Evo for my various craft supplies.
You might need to use
Pluck
more of
foam.
the medium. Also, I wouldn't do it on a wet palette. I'd do it on a dry palette.
Yeah, do not put Noosh on a wet palette.
Yeah, it doesn't work very well.
Imagine someone will have to make a trip to the post office since they probably won't make it by 4. They might have to wait till tomorrow.
No, Slovak, the yellow dots did
I
not
don't
go
have
right.
anyone to take them. It wouldn't be a live demo without a tank getting chickenpox in real time. Browntown Games, good morning. In the afternoon. Game Delay found out on Saturday that his local FLGS has mini painting on Mondays.
Very
So
cool.
Like a group thing?
Like just like an open paint night. People
Awesome.
just chill out. That's what we used to do.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I missed that.
Try it.
It was not the most comfortable thing sitting at card tables at the FLGS and painting, but it was
Community. It was fun.
great community, hanging out, talking paint. Got a lot of people that would come through, and when they see other people doing it, I mean, we're humans, right? If we see a lot of people having fun, we want to know, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And so we would have a lot of people come over and be like, oh, I thought about painting my models for D&D or whatever it was, and they'd sit down with us. Sometimes we could convince people to sit down and paint for the first time, or they'd come back like the next week, which was really cool. And there you go. That's kind of glazing 101. Get some neat skin tone working here. I didn't want to just do
I wonder.
white or
This would work better.
bright neutral gray skin, but I did want that kind of I live in a cave feel.
I'm working to get the consistency right here.
Omicron, how many years till the kids can start painting with you? 'Cause that could be fun. But yeah, Imperial Outpost has a great hobby space. Don't they have like a whole room that's just tables for painting and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got 3 sections of their store: the main store, the gaming room, and then the hobby lounge. Their hobby lounge is really bitchin'.
It is really cool.
Lots of neat
Megalodon said
tables.
hello, nurse.
Hello.
Who's a nurse? Is that for you?
I don't know.
Was it supposed to be nerds?
Probably.
Spell check. Doing its best.
Was that a voice text? Did the boxes get to us
They're supposed to be in on Wednesday.
Wednesday? Oh, it was an Animaniacs reference? Okay, well. As with most. Okay. Phoenix Mercer said, since I need to build a table for 40K and the new format calls for 44 by 60 play area, the old was 6 by 4. Should I make a 6 by 4 or just make 44 by 60?
Their sizes are the typical range, but like we made ours 4x8s and we knock them down to 4x6 and it works great. We have some of the legal mat sizing for AOS and 40K from Frontline Gaming here at the shop, and so we can use the real size. But even on a 4x8, it's nice to be able to have that extra setup space. So you do a 4x6, I think you're fine. Keep it a game table that you can play other games on, because a lot of games are still done in 4x4. I never make anything custom unless you just know you're only ever going to play Games Workshop games.
Five-year-old has painted with you some. I didn't want to paint my Poxwalker, so he painted most of those for me. That's awesome. But maybe even a
Okay.
like a
You have to use a whole lot of
figure that
Yeah.
he's
you put too
interested
much
in,
paint in it, it looks like.
like something cartoony or fun
Well, I think
character that he
applying-
recognizes.
A larger volume of it too. Doing a whole glob of this.
Zambies, hello. Zambi said, "What's shaking, bacon?"
Bacon is shaken.
What?
What?
I don't
What?
I don't understand you crazy people. I'm painting a guy that looks like he should be like a ghoul, but they're not ghouls. So
I like the idea that he's laughing. He's laughing at such a funny joke that he can't even stand up straight. So funny. He's like, "Oh, hilarious."
That's hilarious. That turns out pretty good.
Yeah.
There's only 4 more.
Alright. Now
I think I turned on the AC today.
And you're just realizing this now?
What?
I don't think I turned on the AC today.
Are you hot? Do you need me to go check it?
Yeah, can you? Oh, you're sweating balls. My own damn fault, probably. I try to think back to my morning routine and did I do the things I was supposed to do, and I don't feel like I did today.
So we're gonna try this again. We're gonna show you that guys this again now that I've got a better application process.
Hey, look at that. The air came on.
No, I'm leaving that door.
How you doing, Sam?
Sweaty balls, never good.
Sweaty balls.
You can see I'm adding a lot more thicker glob of it onto the model as I'm doing this. And I'm taking a big brush. I'm just swiping it up and down.
Zambies is finding the forces of adulting with caffeine and snacks. Oh, fighting the forces of adulting.
Fighting the forces with caffeine and snacks?
snacks.
Okay. Gotcha.
It usually works for me.
The idea is that you work this in to the surface to give you a little bit more of that kind of distressed look.
And is this is the noosh and
This is the dot filtering we were talking about.
Dot filtering gives you the idea of dirt and corrosion and oxidation of paint very well. So typically you would do dot filtering with, say, a burnt orangish, burnt
Somebody
sienna,
likes us.
a white or a light gray
Yep.
would be the minimum, and then possibly like a black brown.
I like doing a little bit of blues too, like a darker blue.
So Division Ring said, if I'm understanding Baby J's experimentation right, the issue was that while the noosh medium extends open time, it also depends on paint thickness. So you can't do the tiny dot method because tiny dots or the edges of the small dots.
You can.
will
You have to
dry.
have way more medium in than he was doing. He
So
had too
just
much
not
paint.
enough medium.
But this also works too. If you just use more volume, you can get the same kind of effect. You just have to go a little
Wants to
slower.
know if you can show some pin washing as well. Dr. Rhino said, I have new evidence that Jason tops his ice cream with bold pyrrole red. No.
No, you don't.
AI.
Don't believe everything you see in the
Deepfake.
age of Skynet.
Photoshop.
What's going on, Rhino?
Buffalo, thank you for that sub.
Megadon, man, I was frustrated last night painting up Chief Librarian Tiberius for 40K. So many tiny bits of detail. Frustrating to paint something, then have to clean it up when painting another area. Yeah. I know how you feel.
Oh, and Sebastian, I'm sorry I missed your follow. Thank you for that.
Just too many doodads? Is that what the problem was with him?
Sounds about right.
Well, huzzah, huzzah! I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my breeches with delight.
Punisher said, I saw Rhino say it on the internet, and he's a doctor, so I think I'm going to trust him. But Zambi's got your back. Zambi said, that's totally false. It's Dark Plum and me, not Jason. Not Jason in Pyro Red. Zambi's in Dark Plum.
Sounds like a game of Clue to me.
Dr. Rhino said, I just finished a little project that I can't show quite yet, but Pro Acryl carried me through.
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice. I love this guy's
get
weird
to see it
long
soon.
arm. Like from the elbow to his claw is like a mile long. Very strange.
Megalodon said, yeah, in small places, so kept accidentally getting paint on finished areas.
Going too quick.
Game Delay said, I showed your commercial to my family. Then I read a list of Games Workshop paint names, throwing Wizard's Butt in the middle. They couldn't be entirely sure I was joking.
Yep, that's
Seems
why.
valid.
It worked. A
Seems
doctor
valid.
of what?
Did we get a
Rhinos?
laugh?
Maybe? Or is Rhino his last name?
For those of you just showing up, I am glazing our red gray, one of our signature colors from the Ninjon set, over the top of a underpainted set of colors on these Ogre Maw Tribes Gorger models for Warcry. Zambies. Miss Warcry herself. Should this gain me some newfound respect, Zam? I'm painting the game.
Browntown wants to know if you finished the dwarf.
I'm pretty far along. I wanted to take a break.
Close. Not quite.
Pretty far along though. Got some good work done on the steel scale mail and the gold on Friday when we left off. He's coming along nicely. I really love the model. Been a lot of fun to paint. Still got a long way to go. I got base coats on everything else. All my leather and clothing and stuff is really just sitting there with base coats on it right now. Got to work the helm a little bit, get some color into the helm. And then start working on all the browns. Got 50 miles of brown on this guy. Of various shades and hue shifts and things. Great model though, tons of fun. I like models like this because they have their own attitude. I don't really want to put the shield on it, but everybody says I have to, so I guess we have to. He looks less like a warrior without the shield, more like a blacksmith or something, right? Sitting around with his hammer. Once again, this is the color we're using to glaze this flesh tone.
Oh, Zambies will challenge you to a game. Did you see that?
You need to teach me how to play first. So I don't know about challenge.
Dr. Rhino said, I gave Zambies a Warcry set once, and all I got was this stupid lifelong friendship.
Rhino, sometimes we don't get what we deserve, but we get what we need. I heard that someplace.
Megalodon said, Baby J, do you feel the dot experiment gives as good results as pigment powders? I've always had trouble with the powder.
Powder, the problem is the powder doesn't have anything to adhere to.
Gotta use fixative after.
Yeah. Like, the pigment will stick to some extent in the kind of nature of the toothy nature of the matte finish, but it's not gonna stick enough. This way you can still get all the streakiness that you're looking for when you're doing this type of stuff.
Buffalo, we don't here at Monument do any discounts really, other than our like set discounts and BYOB. However, there's a whole list of monumentals, some of whom are in chat here right now, who have discount codes that they share.
Indeed.
One of them might be named a Zambies. Malev was here earlier.
Rhino.
Dr. Rhino.
Go check out some of our partner streamers. It's a good
Check 'em
chance to
out,
find
check
some
'em
other
out.
really cool painters, great communities.
Omicron, have a good day. Thanks for getting all the mail from everyone. I'm sure it's a pain today.
Alright. We're going to lay this into some cracks and crevices. See how it works. Here, leave this out of the way. Now, because this is a matte finish, you're not going to get as much of that kind of pulling away into the recesses as you would.
Yeah, if you really want to do good
Pin washing.
pin washing, you need to do a gloss varnish first.
Yeah.
Over super matte paint, at least.
Which I would do, but I don't want to annoy you guys with the crazy loudness.
Oh, does it need to go on through the airbrush?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to hand apply it right now. It would take a long time.
We do make a gloss varnish, though.
We certainly do.
How was everyone's weekend? More than an hour into stream, and we haven't talked about that yet.
Delightful.
Delightful. What'd you do?
I sat around and did nothing.
Oh,
And it was satisfying as heck.
that's all that matters.
So here we're gonna wipe away the excess.
Jason and I both painted.
I got the base coats on these guys. Jen painted our living room
I
wall.
painted walls. Weekend was great. Lost power for 17 hours and really tested my ability to sit in the dark silently for extended periods of time. Wow, fun.
I was
Sounds great.
doing what Mo sounds like he was doing, which was listening to The End and the Death, Volume 2, which has been out for a week or so now.
20 minutes. That's quite a kiss, Megalodon. No, I didn't paint unicorns on the walls. I just painted one color. Just a color of paint.
I'm just getting in here.
I'm interested in the way you feel, Mo, about the book, because I definitely see GW milking the heresy, right? The way that Kyle, our resident heresy fanatic, if you will, described it was that it feels like, oh, it's the last movie for Harry Potter. Here's 2 movies, right? Like, they're definitely milking it. I said that with The End and the Death Part 1, that I felt like it was some of Abnett's worst writing. I don't know that worst is a good way to say that. Some of his not best writing is probably a better way to say that, right?
Mo wants to know how far you're into it.
I want to say I'm probably about where you are. All of the attacks in the palace are coming from behind people as chaos digs in to the main portion of the palace. We only really have sanguineous experience with Ferrus Manus so far.
A Division Ring said, so with all the other things Noosh can do, does it also become the go-to additive for getting wet blending done? That's a
Can be.
Yeah.
glaze and wash medium.
The glaze
though.
wash medium does well for that too. I would say use the glaze wash medium first. And then if you need like longer open times as you're practicing, then Noosh will give you longer open times.
Oh, are you muting him, Avian?
And then I can do cool stuff like putting in some damage with a little sponge.
Oh,
Sponge.
someone typed
scratches.
done when Slow Fuse is finished. She don't want any spoilers.
Oh,
Oh.
I thought he was just like, I can't listen to this anymore. T. Schmid had a good weekend, played Kill Team and Lost, then played Marvel Zombies with all the expansions, then hung out with the FLGS crew and ate pizza and cupcakes. Sunday, I painted trim on terrain. Good weekend all around. It sounds like it.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not super fond of the End and the Death stuff so far. It's doing a good job of tying up stories.
Oh, but maybe not done, though. 'Cause
No, I'm not done.
He just started talking again.
I'm not done. I'm
Well,
not giving.
what-
I don't do spoilers.
What Tomatoes wrote done, and Avian said thanks. So I'm telling Avian that no, you're not done yet.
No, I don't. I don't do spoilers though, Avian. The
Hey Jade.
no spoilers that would make any difference. The things I'm gonna say are not major plot points.
Or are things that everybody knows happens.
I mean, it is the heresy.
Yeah.
It's like you already know how it ends. So unless they plan to do some sort of crazy rug pull and change it entirely, which I guess is still within their power to do, we don't know how it's going to end. But yeah, it's not my favorite part of the series so far. I have really enjoyed the entirety of the Siege of Terra up until Aaron Dembski Bowden's book, and then the end of the death stuff, which has been a bummer for me because I really had high hopes for Abnett telling us a much better story than he has in the last one. Now, it shows how far I am away from the general populace because everybody thinks these books are the best of the entire series. And I'm like, I don't get it, but maybe I'm missing something.
Dr. Rhino, at this time we don't have any plans to start a painting service.
A what?
Painting service.
Nah.
Spitfire Miniatures says, "What do you call a sleepwalking nun?"
I don't know.
A Roman Catholic.
I like it. I'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
So I'm going to make up another pin wash this time. Make it out of petroleum brown.
Mo said, "Jason, the people saying that are bot programmers paid by GW."
I don't know. I get it. I'm always kind of at odds, right? Because I really love the world and the storytelling. So I don't have anything against the heresy, obviously. I do feel like it is being overly commercialized for money because it's coming to the end and it's probably been a pretty good moneymaker for them, so I get it. You know, they're going to lose a cash cow when they finish telling the story. Makes sense. So, but I don't feel like that's grounds for cutting on the quality, and you're cutting the quality by just extending with filler. There's, 50,000 paragraphs in these books so far. It started with Aaron Dembski Bowden's book, which I'm assuming it was that it wasn't enough words. So they went back and said, find more stuff. Well, the story was told, so what are you going to do when you have to find more words? You're just going to add filler, right? And I feel like that's what's happened to Abnett's side of it, too, is that it's just somehow a deal where it's like, no, we can't do it in 2, we got to do it in 3. So here we are.
Oh, Division Ring. We've seen it live. We've seen it happen, like in a live presentation on AI. It's very much a thing.
What's that?
Division Ring said it's sad to think how easy AI has made that job. The bot programmers paid by GW.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't even looked, but I know you can buy Chat GPT AstroTurfing for pennies, a review/comment.
Yeah. Big problem on Amazon right now. Yeah, I'm not far enough along to give it a definitive. I am enjoying the way that some of the stories are moving forward, but it sure is taking a while to get out of its own way. There's no reason why a lot of this stuff needs more than a paragraph or two. And we get chapter upon chapter upon chapter.
Spitfire Miniature said, I'm really glad that the Supreme Court ruled anything created by AI cannot be copyrighted. I don't know that.
Step in the right direction.
That one ruling is going to prevent Hollywood from mass producing garbage AI movies, which they would do since they already mass produce garbage movies as it is.
I don't know. It's such a weird situation because like we've been talking about it around here. Jen and I went, like she said, to a presentation about the power of AI for business, and we can see some really, really good, useful tools there for productivity. But what's really getting people going is all the stuff that isn't productivity in its base form. It's productivity from allowing people that don't have the capability to pretend they have the capability to do things, whether that's art or writing or whatever. You know, I think I mentioned it on stream. The presenter was this snake oil salesman guy who was just tons and tons of charisma and personality. And
great presenter, very engaging.
Yeah, great engaging presenter. As Jen said, she didn't even want to be doing what he was telling her to do, and she found herself doing it.
Yeah.
But what was happening is while people were talking, he was looking up their names on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, and then leaving AI comments on their profile. And he was so proud of this. He was so proud that he had this AI bot that was trained to speak like him, and that he could leave all these comments and interact with all these people without actually having to do it. And I was just appalled.
Well,
I was like, well, that's not interacting with people.
Well, especially because, you know, someone would post like an article and he wouldn't even read it. He would just post a comment on it.
He didn't read it at all.
And he felt like that's a good way to
Exactly.
make connections. And like, is it though?
And he was even proud of the fact that, see, I didn't even have to read the crap they posted, but I can put them on there and now maybe they'll buy my product. He was just a marketing guy.
Yeah.
That's why I call it. He was a snake oil salesman. But he had the room enraptured.
Yep.
And boy, he would make you think that it was the next, like, buy NFTs.
If you went into it, like I went into it already very reluctant about the ideas.
Skeptic, yeah.
I was, very skeptical. And so for me, thinking about like the bigger ramifications of something like AI, it's not appealing to me other than, you know, like the little things that we talked about that could be useful, like note taking and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't get it. Ghost Hunter had a bot that replied to certain people on Twitter, and Elon banned that account. He personally did.
As they should. Bot accounts are bad. There's no good to them.
I'm throwing in all these little highlights underneath all these scratches, bits of weathering. I've been doing here. Taking my highlight color, bringing it back, and do some edge highlights on here as well.
Their followers count dropped because all the bots went away. It's happened on Twitch a bunch of times. Twitch will go through every now and then and purge.
But we don't get too many bots.
No, I don't. Our accounts never really had a problem. But you see a lot of people that, you know, you can tell though, right? You can tell when somebody says they have, 15,000 followers, but all of their posts have like 6 likes.
Yeah.
You know it's botting. It's not like this is fooling anybody. And the argument is that, well, you can't get seen if you haven't already been seen, meaning that if you don't have the follower count, the algorithms aren't going to pay attention to you, and so on and so forth. And, I mean, we know that's not true, but it's hard to convince people that want to get rich quick.
Ghost Hunter, so you made this bot. And what was the purpose? Just to make it? Who said the bot left snarky comments from a list of snarky comments? Dr. Rhino's seen a rise in bot follows. Yeah. Vision Ring said, I'm more pessimistic about the AI future. I don't have any faith the general consuming public will understand what's going on with AI and stand opposed to it on some moral grounds. I don't understand how, though. I see them doing the same thing they do with Walmart. Damn the quality as long as the price is low.
Yeah.
That's right. We have our very own ban evader.
Our very own what?
Ban evader. What if I am a bot? Said someone named Zambies, who might be a bot.
Well, there you go. Zambies confirmed bot right on stream. We had such high hopes for you, Zam.
T. Schmidt said all the AI stuff that's getting pushed feels like all the steps in the wrong direction. 100% I'm on board with what you guys have talked about, like using Midjourney as a starting point for art, but encouraging engagement by ignoring the human element in an age where actual human connection is increasingly difficult. Just sucks. It does. It absolutely does. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we believe it's a tool. There's always been AI algorithms, and especially in art programs, Photoshop and Adobe have used the same type of algorithm for years in how it will go in and be able to review the picture you're doing and do what is now called generative fill. Now it's a lot more detailed. You can type in, I'll lasso this area and say add mountains, and you'll get mountains instead of, the bland background of your kitchen wall. But again, it's like everything. It's like, how is it used? Is it used in a way that is lying to people? We didn't get any of that at the conference we went to. The presentation we went to wasn't a conference. We didn't get any negativity. They didn't say anything about, like, okay, well, what if, you get known enough that somebody then takes all these wonderful tools you just showed us on how you can make an AI version of yourself and put it in all these locations, and they do it and put you in a location that gets you canceled. They put you in a situation with your virtual self that they have now copied.
Yeah.
And they put you in a compromising position in a photo that can't be contested, right? Where you have to start proving alibis, and you get canceled because the court of public opinion is known in these days to just go out and fry people before listening to the story.
But I need to use those filters that make my face look different when I post things on my TikToks.
Wait a minute, you mean the bunny filter isn't legit? I use that for everything.
It's gone way past the bunny filter and completely changes the way people look. It's not just putting like a silly nose or like you open your mouth and a big tongue comes out.
Ultimate catfishing.
Yeah. Moral is to question everything, and is anything real? Nothing is real. We live in an unnumbered layer of a simulation.
It's the Milli Vanilli complex, right?
Milli Vanilli?
Yeah. The Milli Vanilli complex. It's the fake singers that made it because everybody thought they were great, and then they got outed and banned, right? And I feel like that's what we're about to go through again.
They had big, like, parking lot parties at radio stations to burn all the Milli Vanilli tapes and CDs and stuff. Did we have CDs then? I don't remember.
Girl, you know it's true.
All hail Zambot.
But like everything, AI stands to make a lot of people a lot of money. So you'll hear a lot of proponents for all sorts of things that aren't taking into account the legitimacy of needing to have some standards on it, at least. I don't know who makes those standards, though. That's the problem. I hate government. I hate the idea of government coming in and tell us what we can do.
Ghost Hunter now has Milli Vanilli stuck in his head. For that.
As you should.
Who is this?
Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, I've never heard of this person before.
Oh my god. I'm old.
Well, yeah, we knew this. You make this joke all the time. I am also 12, so there's that.
How did we get away with hiring a 12-year-old? Where's HR?
I think I'm bad. Wait till you see all the rest of the ones that are younger than me.
Because I'm wondering who of your generation. Okay, so anyone in chat who's around like 30-ish, do you know who Milli Vanilli is without having to Google?
We're talking
No.
about a generation that I don't think has lived without autotune.
But they might. I mean, there's still people who know, because it was a historical thing in music.
It's on like
Irish
like
Rock,
Netflix.
1987. 1987 makes me think that might be the year you were born. Knows who Milli Vanilli is.
Blame it on the rain.
I mean, I was born in '93.
Bob Dylan does not lip sync. No one's lip syncing to that.
Milli Vanilli was a band. So they were
duo.
two guys that looked like brothers but weren't.
They look like twins.
Yeah, they looked like twins, but they weren't.
Related at all.
They weren't related at all. And
Mathematics 36 knows them and the Scandal.
and
JP Gray, do you know who Milli Vanilli is? Oh, you're like.
they
older
couldn't
than
sing.
Jordan,
It
I
was
think.
all fake.
It was completely fake. They had someone sing, and then they just lip synced over it
Oh my god.
and danced and stuff. You would probably recognize some of the songs.
And so, of course, you can imagine when a technical difficulty happened at a concert,
Oops.
and they tried to carry it off and sing because they were so full of themselves.
Yeah. Girl, you know it. Skip. Girl, you know it. Skip. Girl, you know it. That's exactly what it was.
And so, yeah, they got outed as not being able to even carry a tune. All they were dancers and producers' nightmare. And I mean, they'd sold like 1 million copies. It was no joke.
They were hugely popular.
Hugely popular.
Girl, you know it's true, and blame it on the rain.
And ended a career instantaneously. That's why I say AI is along those lines, right? It's going to be a lot of people getting away with murder and being able to be things they're not until they're really forced into a situation where they have to be and prove that they can't do whatever it is they...
Oh my gosh. Zenmoto said, my concern is that AI is good at generating things that look right, but are only just looks. Things like mushroom identification books that can have real safety implications. And then there's a link to an article that I'm not going to click, but it tells the headline of the article, which is mushroom pickers urged to avoid foraging books on Amazon that appear to be written by AI.
Oh, Jesus. Can you imagine? Holy hell. Hadn't even thought of it.
People getting poisoned left and right if they're out there foraging for mushrooms and thinking that they can eat them. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Yeah, because even the people
Bad.
that were talking to us about the AI were like, yeah, most of the time it's wrong. It needs humans to peruse what it's created, so it's just a good resource to put in the process because it can be good at, like, opening up a brainstorming session because it can come up with some ideas that it has scraped from, around the world. And then you can be like, oh, let's run with something like that. But it needs humans because it doesn't know anything other than what it can go out and find on the internet. It doesn't know context. So when it comes to like writing and talking and all of that stuff, it worries the hell out of me. Artwork, again, I lived through the the analog to digital music world. And a lot of this same screaming and hollering was going on when sampling and all that came up and was under, strict scrutiny. And of course I was, learning how to sample at the time. I was like, oh, this is a great way to be able to do quick beats and stuff and take it and alter it and all that. And a lot of people were like, it's the death of music. And I guess there's some people you could go back and talk to and it's like, they're not wrong. It changed music forever, for sure.
It just changed the way people create music, though.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
they're blending it and mixing it still, which is
It
a
did a
skill
lot
that-
to remove a lot of studio artists from the mix, so it got rid of a lot of jobs.
Oh.
It got rid of a ton of jobs.
Yeah.
Not to mention all of the studio engineers and
Yeah.
the people that were recording the stuff because digital made it easy. So yes, the availability of the tools to everyone changed an industry forever. Granted, art is going to see the same thing happen. AI is already here. It's not going away from a standpoint of being able to allow your creative director to create things that he or she may not actually have the talent to create, because it can generate things, and that's going to lose, people a position. And that's the case. And that's not going to change. You don't want, and unfortunately, you don't want somebody to write a law that changes that, because I think that goes in the other direction. I don't know.
Division Ring said there will come a day when the Gorillas are a normal band.
What?
Oh yeah, we'll look at Gorillas and say back when music was written by humans. And the Gorillas, their big song, Clint Eastwood, is a riff taken from a Casio keyboard. Like straight ripped from the Casio keyboard. Like you could have gone into Walmart and bought that keyboard.
Like the little tiny one?
And one of the baked in beats on it is the beginning to that Clint Eastwood song.
Oh my gosh, I need to listen to that again.
May not be Clint Eastwood. It's one of their songs.
Yeah,
and it's
they
literally
had,
the track you would
what
have
was that other
gotten
one
if you
that
bought
they
the
had?
Casio keyboard and hit like Rhythm 7.
Well, like the little tiny keyboard?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that when I was in like 5th grade.
Yeah.
I got it for Christmas and
Yeah.
loved that thing. But yeah, it had all these built-in like beats and tunes, and it was fun.
Yeah, they made a lot of them. They made some of them that had,
But you could play something and like record
better
into
rhythms
it.
and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he just hit the button. There's an interview with him, and he's like, yeah, check this out. And he just hit the button, and the guy was like, wait, what is that? Is that a sample? He goes, no, that's literally where we got the song from. He goes, from that keyboard? He's like, yes. He starts rapping over it.
Adrian said, thanks, Slow Fuse. Now I have 5 Gorillaz songs in my head going to find that. Did you figure out which one it was?
Just do a YouTube Gorillaz Casio song, and it'll show up.
Oh. Probably a good way to do it.
That's where I found it. I was just diving through. Every now and then I'll just sit there and listen to music on YouTube, and, it takes you down through the genre rabbit hole that you're listening to. And the one that I happen to be listening to brought up a Gorillaz song, and I'm not huge on Gorillaz, so
Gorillaz Casio.
Del the Funky Homo Sapien, I think, did some Gorillaz stuff, and I did like him.
It is Clint Eastwood.
Hmm?
It's Clint Eastwood.
Is it Clint Eastwood?
Yeah. The Clint Eastwood by Gorillaz, or Clint Eastwood by Gorillaz, basically came straight out of some keyboard preset. I mean, there are worse things you could have stuck in your head. At least it's a cool song.
Interesting
Great.
times.
AI wrote my resume that got me a job, so thanks, AI. I feel like when we were hiring, we got some AI resumes.
Oh, yeah.
There were some really good ones.
Some really good ones.
I'm like, oh, this person's really impressive. Like, oh, they're so young. It was the guy that didn't show up for his interview.
Found out that AI is kind of scary when you let it do stuff for you, and then you got to go prove that that was you. Wait a minute, they're never going to buy this.
Turns out, you still got to go into an office and be a place and pretend to be that person.
We do have a place that requires people to actually come to the building for work.
Yes.
Much as a lot of people want remote jobs, Monument Hobbies.
Turns out manufacturing
not the
ain't one of
place
them.
for it. I can't even work remotely.
Here's that dried mech.
Oh, heck yeah.
Looks good.
And you can even see some
No.
shininess down in the pits where it's probably still able to be moved around. It's probably still a little wet.
Games played poorly. That's what I don't want, though, is the music by deceased musicians. It's not because it's not them, really. It feels like it's not the same. I don't know.
What's that?
Games Played Poorly said, I know AI is seen as horrid, but I would like it if one day I could hear Bon Scott sing AC/DC Back in Black songs and beyond. And I said that's the part that I don't like about it,
Oh yeah, no.
is
No.
yeah. That's like the deep fake kind of stuff.
Yep.
Megalodon's back, and boy howdy are his lips tired.
What?
He said a while ago, he said, be back in 20 minutes, my wife's home and I gotta run upstairs and give her a kiss.
Okie dokie.
I said, that's a long kiss. The holograms, yeah, like when they was there a Ronnie James Dio one? I know they brought like Tupac on the stage at Coachella or something like that. He did.
Well, it's already been like, they did Carrie Fisher in Star Wars after she died.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grand Moff Tarkin, whatever his name was, Peter Cushing, right? Did him too. So they brought back all these characters that, you couldn't have actually done. So they've already been doing it. And under the guise of, oh, what a great way to pay homage and to have them back and all that. And I'm like,
Oh, I mean, they also did it with, what's his name from Fast and Furious?
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker. Yeah, his brother played his part.
Oh. So Spatsnet, Megalodon Jaws works for Cool Mini or not, said Simon's board game Rising Sun has Japanese gods, and this is from Spatsnet, has Japanese gods in it. It turns out that one of the gods they used was from information they got from Wikipedia. The specific god was a joke. Someone played on their friend by creating the Wikipedia entry of a fake god with images of their friend. Now that friend is in a board game. And Megalodon said, boy, do I remember that fiasco. I mean, the game stuff is, well, unless it's like supposed to be like super hardcore historic game, then, I mean, all that stuff's made up anyway.
It's still...
So why does it matter?
There's a difference between using something that's made up and using something that's a joke, I think.
Well, but I mean, if it works in the game, then who cares? I was not part of the dev team, for the record.
Yeah, that's probably good.
I mean, that kind of laziness can get you into trouble no matter what you're doing.
Still gotta do the due diligence.
Black Bladder said, is that a Flashman Mini? And I'm going to say no. I don't know which one you're asking about, but...
No, that's a... What is that? The Flashman has that weird radar disc thing on its head. That's a... these are mechs that I don't know very well. It's an assault mech. And I can't remember what it's called.
It's a Gorger Maw Pack.
It's a Gorger Maw Pack.
Gorger Maw Pack.
You want AI to finish George R.R. Martin's Song of Ice and Fire? No, you don't.
I don't know.
I mean, you could probably make it do that, JP. Arctic Edge said, hey, Monument Hobbies, just wanted to say thanks, jerk faces. Your amazing demonstration of metallics and transparent color paints caused me to go and buy metallic medium and all of those paints.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Sorry?
Sorry?
Not sorry?
He did say thanks. He just called us jerk faces. It's not completely inaccurate.
Glad to hear it.
Which, did you say it's not completely inaccurate?
I mean,
We're kind of...
we'll have our jerk face
it
moments.
It fits. It rings true. Checks out.
If the shoe fits.
Glad
We're
it
not
helped.
actually jerk faces. Thank you.
I mean, that's really
Sometimes
what
we are.
all this is about, is finding new, cool ways to enjoy your painting experience, whether with our products or others. The whole goal of this stream is to tell semi-funny jokes, laugh at ourselves, and Show you some cool stuff in the world of hobbying.
We're not supposed to do funny jokes?
I mean,
I thought we were supposed to be doing funny jokes.
so about that.
I thought that was the whole point.
Have not started. It's not Thanksgiving yet. We don't start decorating around here for Christmas until after Thanksgiving. Everybody can have their own customized ending to Game of Thrones. Did you think the incest angle was weird? Get rid of it. Or if you thought there wasn't enough.
Oh my gosh.
You ready for an FBI list?
Hey, Ghost Hunter, we're here for you. We are, I think we're kind of split here
I mean,
on when to decorate for Christmas. Because earlier we had people who already had their decorations up.
yep.
But
I
Arctic
don't
Edge and
have any.
Megalodon are on team
Ooh.
post Thanksgiving.
Post Thanksgiving, yes. Gotta let one holiday finish before you start the next.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I did give international people a pass.
Right. Yes,
They're
if you are
already in
not
the
in the
Christmas
United
time.
States, you do you.
You're in the U.S. and you're already decorating for Christmas. I mean, that's just insanity.
I mean, that's Starbucks right now.
What about Starbucks?
They got the red cups.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, the commercial nonsense is
That was a couple weeks
unbelievable.
ago.
Yeah. Or
No, it was a couple weeks
Was
ago.
it
Yeah,
really?
because Maddie and I went out for coffee, and that was like the day that they came out.
oh right, I remember you
Because
talking about this.
I got
Yeah.
my caramel brulee latte for the first time. Can AI tell me who was on the grassy knoll at Dealey Plaza on November 22nd, 1963?
It definitely can.
Yeah.
You should not believe what it says.
Yeah. It can tell you anything. I've already started decorating for next Halloween by leaving my current decorations up. Yay for efficiency.
I'm a fan of that. Just don't take the Christmas lights down, and then all of a sudden you're set, right?
Country song about that.
All right, there's number 2. Uno, dos.
Friend in the industry already has 7 Christmas trees in his house. He is psycho. That's a lot of
He
Christmas
is
trees.
psycho. I mean, is his house big enough to need 6 Christmas trees? 7 Christmas trees?
What
Can
a big
AI
difference.
stop Black Friday from starting 3 weeks ago? Right? I'm already seeing stuff like, get in on our Black Friday sale now. I'm like, it's not Black Friday yet.
Yeah, I
Our Black
know.
Friday sale goes all month long. Okay,
Well, that's the thing, is
let's
it
call
starting here pretty soon.
Black
It'll be like
November?
February
I don't
1st.
know.
Shopping for Valentine's? Get our Christmas deals.
Yeah.
Shopping for Valentine's, get our Christmas deals.
My dad used to say that all the time. He's like, it won't be too long before Christmas starts in January.
Is he in the Christmas tree industry? Just put up color programmable LED strips and change the colors each holiday.
That's what you should do.
Yeah. And you have lights all time. I mean, Division Ring, I always buy stuff I don't need, so I don't think AI has anything to do with that.
Holy, nearly 4.
Yup.
I
You
know.
kidding me?
Time's moving quickly.
You don't actually mind Black Friday being diluted and spread out? Makes going out on actual Black Friday pointless? I was never a fan of like, the old days where you like had to leave and go to Black Friday. My sister
Like
used
4 in the
to-
morning.
My sister used to go at 2 in the morning.
Or people that camp out the night before.
Yeah.
Like, be with your family. That's Thanksgiving.
Man, I have had to work the overnight shift for
Oof.
Black Friday before. Let's just say I'm happy I don't work for Best Buy anymore.
We would do so. My mom she loved shopping, and we would go shopping on Black
Hey,
Friday,
somebody
but not
likes
for
us.
the Black Friday sales or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
we would just get up and go have brunch and go to the mall and walk around.
Joe the Gamer, thank you. Yeah, I'm not for that. But one year I had to go with my sister, and the next year she and Carter went, and I had to stay at the house with William.
Yeah, that's the better place.
That was definitely the way to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this can work every year. She wanted to go the first year and get something big that needed to be.
I have a friend from college who makes it's like a whole event for her and her family, like her sisters and her mom. And like they wear matching T-shirts that say like Black Friday Brigade or something silly like that, and they get up when it's dark out, and yeah, they post pictures on Facebook.
I mean, I don't actually have a problem with that.
I know you do you.
Yeah.
I am not doing that. There is no bargain that I need. There's no gift I need that badly that I need to get up at 4 in the morning to go get it.
Well, it's the same thing. I was talking to Gabe about it.
But I don't have children, so like
Yeah.
the hot gift items are irrelevant to me anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to Gabe about it last week, and he's like, are you excited for the deals? And I was just like, I mean, no, because if I buy stuff, I'm going to buy stuff that I don't need. Like, I'm going to just spend money on things because it's cheap and not because I, like, genuinely want it. And that's how they get you. Because they're like, hey, how about this, like, random thing that you don't really need, but, like, is kind of cool that you kind of sort of want. And then you're like, oh, well, I guess I'll spend, some amount of money on it. And then you're just like,
People watching on Black Friday is good, but now I can just do it on the internet
that's also true.
because there will be videos, I'm sure.
You can see how that pin wash worked pretty well here when I did it. These little corner pieces. You gotta play around with it, find the right consistency for how you like to apply paint. You can see it here.
That's neat, Spatsnet.
Oh,
Looks
Irish
really
Rock,
good.
that's awesome. My dad and I used to go shopping for the toy deals, then go donate to all the shelters. I love that. Mom would brag about getting gifts done by 3 or 4 a.m. on Black Friday. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
T.
I got
Schmidt's having
everybody
a
on my
proud
shopping list
nerd
handled.
moment. His son is watching the OG X-Men cartoon all on his own interest.
There you go.
Okay, that's what Jason saw, I think, huh? Alternate to Black Friday shopping. I host a board game day at my house on that Friday. I usually have a dozen people from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
No, we don't do Black Friday sales. We're actually closed on Black Friday.
We let all of our retailers have the holiday sale
Yeah.
stuff. We release new products to help our
Yep.
partners, and obviously it's a great time to release new stuff. Although our marketing people don't believe so. They say product launches on Black Friday are stupid, but we don't care.
We
We're
did it
stupid people,
anyways.
so we do stupid things.
Do you guys think it's stupid that we're releasing our fluorescents on Black Friday? Because your opinion is more important to us than theirs.
This is not a lie.
I don't think that they would appreciate that, but it's probably true.
No,
No.
they don't get to argue.
They don't get to argue.
Vivian said Gib.
I really love this scheme. I'm like lost in it. It's so cool. It gives me such a neat variable depending on how much and how opaque I apply the red gray in certain areas, because the color underneath turns into totally different things in different areas.
Schmidt, that's awesome. It's gonna have to pick up the rest of the X-Men and Brotherhood MCP stuff so he and I can have a thematic battle.
Nice.
Love that. So it has nothing to do with the rope loincloth, Jason?
Hey, you shush.
Oh, I gotta go lock up.
I believe it's that time already.
Yeah, right. I think that if you're, Ostino says, I think if you're releasing a new product on Black Friday, it has a chance of being drowned out in all the other advertising. Yeah, definitely. It definitely does, and we understand that. But we don't release products with the idea that if it doesn't make, X amount of dollars on release day, it's bad. I think a lot of people think in terms of product releases as being like Hollywood movie opening weekends, And we release new products that, on a timeline that gets us excited. Because we're nerds. We like our products. We like to paint with our products. And while, yeah, we could sit here and paint with them all the time, the fact that we do this stream is a huge help for us because it puts us in a position where it's like we want to let you guys have it. Right? We don't sit here and paint in a vacuum. We paint with everybody screaming at us of when are we going to get this stuff? So I think it's the perfect time because people are always like, hey, Monument Hobbies, what are you doing for Black Friday? And we're like, releasing cool new products. Because we get a ton of people that ask us about Black Friday. What are you doing? Got anything new coming? Got any sales and specials and things like that? We know that by not having a special, we run the risk of them going to Bed Bath & Beyond instead of buying hobby products. But we also have, cool new stuff we want to release. And
It's a good time to get people excited about new stuff.
Bed Bath & Beyond is hobby products now? I mean, what do you consider a hobby? I always say things like Bed Bath & Beyond. Do they even still exist?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Gotta check.
Did you hear about how everybody did this weekend
What do you mean?
at the Digimon thing?
Oh, no, they all lose?
Somebody
Paul
likes
got
us.
6th place
Sixth. Awesome.
out of 475.
Awesome. I mean, he's been testing enough, and he's a good player.
Yeah.
So that assures him his spot. Nobody else. Well, who else had to? Jesus?
Yeah.
Did anybody else place?
I don't think so.
Good.
Jacob
And there was Paul.
did
Paul
well.
was saying, so, a bunch of our team play card games, and Digimon is one that they suckered us a bunch of us into, and it's a fun game, but not near as serious about it as they are. And Jacob, chair guy, and Paul, and some of their friends went to California this weekend for the regionals. Jacob had already top 16 to regionals, so he's already a shoe-in for nationals, already has his invite. But the rest of them didn't, and so they went out there. So it's nice to hear that Paul got his win. You have to top 16, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Top 16 at a 400,
Toss a coin. What's going on?
473 people is a lot of people for an event too. So, kudos to him for.
No, and that's really exciting to know that there were that many people that still,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, are.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
playing.
it's also Pasadena, so it's like a big, like, area where a lot of people play card games and stuff. California's pretty good, like a big place to do all of that on the West Coast. Because Washington's not really the place where they do that kind of stuff for Digimon. They do it for Magic. Magic's got all sorts of events up north, but.
Will he be wearing a Monument Hobbies shirt and hat at Nationals? They wanted us to make a Monument Hobbies game mats. Play mats. Everybody said they'd rock them at tournaments.
I still really want to get those done.
So we've thought about doing that, but not really a priority.
What I
Monument
miss.
Hobbies sleeves win? Oh, you joke. But sooner than you might think. For reasons we have alluded to here on stream. We have our first game comes out in March this next year. And part of what we have, it's a card battler. Think Tekken Tag on the tabletop with cards. And so we do have the need for sleeves for that game. And as part of the conversation, a lot of the guys around here have been saying, hey, if we're doing that, can we get like sleeves for other card games? So we'll see. Tarot size sleeves. The card battler we're coming out with, the character cards are 3.5 by 5. So is that tarot size?
3.5 by 5? No. Tarot is like. Oh, maybe it is.
I think it is.
No.
Maybe 4x6.
No, I think tarot is like 2.5 by 4.
Is it
It
weird?
might
It's a
be
weird
2.5 by
wonky size like that.
I don't really remember off the top of my head, to be honest with you. Publishing your first game is always terrifying. Megalodon Jaws. It's a lot of. It's an interesting and exciting experience.
What's that?
We're all very excited about it. Publishing our first game.
I'm not sure about that whole thing. Two magic-sized cards lined up on a long edge. So yeah, that's 3.5 by 5. This 2.5 by 3.5 is a standard card.
It's a robot, JP Gray. It counts.
Does it though?
It's got a spirit. Got a spirit inside.
Oh, Land Raider. Yeah, that's true. I thought
It
we were still
counts.
on Battletech minis.
Oh no. No. Got the machine spirit. I got spirit. Am I a robot? But your body's not made of metal completely. Hopefully.
completely, hopefully. So I also this weekend, I didn't get around to priming them, but I also picked who I'm painting. Megalodon. I'll be doing Cap and Skull.
Oh yeah, I need to pull some of our Marvel Zombies stuff for tomorrow because I want to paint that on stream.
So
Actually, how about this? I'll ask Megalodon Jaws. Megalodon, what do you want me to paint out of the Marvel Zombies starter set? If you could pick any miniature out of the starter set for me to paint, what would you want me to paint?
Galactus.
It's not in the starter set.
It came with the starter set.
Silver Surfer and Black Panther. Ooh, Silver Surfer could be fun. Okay, duly noted, Megalodon. Duly noted.
We'll see if you get your wish. He's bad about that, like I am. We ask Chat a lot of times, like, "Hey, Chat, what do you want to see?" And we're like, "Nah, not really."
I'm literally gonna go grab that box right now and grab those 2 models and put it on my desk, so I don't forget.
Pragmatic Shark said, I just used the steel non-metallic metal workup you showed me at Gen Con, and I'm super happy with how it's coming out.
Awesome.
Yay!
Ah. You think Marvel Zombies is now your favorite game? That's awesome, T. Schmidt. Slavic says, "What happened to Jordan? We killed him." Whenever you get hired at Monument Hobbies, the clock starts running. And when the time's up, time's up. We don't make exceptions. He said he was going to get the 2 Marvel Zombies models that Megalodon chose so he doesn't forget.
Oh no, the weathering dots didn't look that bad. Do Silver Surfer, but instead of silver, make him gold and make him glow.
Gold Surfer.
All right. Boom. And boom. These models are sweet.
What's that?
These models are super cool.
I love the style of these. I was surprised at the scale. How small they are, but I guess that's Zombicide, right?
Which chair is that? Left? Nope. It's the right one.
It's one of them. It's a chair.
These are plastic.
Gabe, was that a sigh of despair I heard out of you?
Was a sigh of nice chair.
Yeah.
You know.
You had a long, hard day, Gabe.
No, it was pretty chill, actually. Hello. I'm back. I've
It's
been in chat
Jade.
this whole time.
Gabe.
I'm Hipster Gumby in chat, so you didn't know that. Now you do.
Did you see T. Schmid telling you about the game?
I do now. 3 scenarios on Saturday, all heavy characters. That sounds fun. But mobility was tough. Hello, everybody.
Good warm welcome for Jabe.
It is after hours.
Mm-hmm.
Technically still working though. I have a meeting. It's
I
supposed to be
also
happening right
have a
now.
meeting.
You have a meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're supposed to be meeting.
Oh, a meeting with you guys?
I'm enjoying painting.
That's okay. I don't mind.
We
Should
can switch it to next week.
I wish
if
we
you
could
want.
include chat. They would be a good resource during our meeting.
I mean, you could sit in the chairs probably.
Chat can't keep secrets.
Chat
cannot
can't keep secrets.
yeah.
That is
Chat
correct.
can't
Oh.
keep secrets.
This is a big secretive meeting.
Yeah.
Megalodon's
no.
bringing us in.
Don't trust him.
I'm like, what does Gabe have a meeting for?
What zombies
right
character am
now?
I gonna paint? I don't know yet.
What's that?
JP Greer asked me what zombies character I'm gonna paint.
The Western one?
It's true. I'm really excited to play that Western one.
Megalodon said we will work cheap for lousy jokes and painting tips. JP Gray will sign an NDA.
A lot of good that'll do us.
Pragmatic Shark said how many channel points to become a board member and sit in on the meeting?
1 billion.
Don't say that. Somebody's
Somebody-
got them.
I might have that many.
A
Somebody's
billion?
But
got
I don't
'em.
need 'em.
Did you give a billion? That'd be crazy.
There are enough
I don't know how many
didgeridoos
channel
out there.
points I have now because I know I don't log in as myself anymore.
We will work cheap for lousy jokes and painting tips. But you get all of that for free.
I don't believe them.
Megalodon, you get all that for
See my
free.
channel points?
It's true.
Can't see my channel points on my phone.
I can't see my channel points.
The monument channel point says infinity, so.
NDA means N. N.
It's a no DA.
Megalodon, that is a great question.
What's the question?
You guys putting your game straight into distro or going crowdfunding?
They are kind of a hybrid. We plan to use, I mean, kind of like what you guys do at CMON, the ability to have the marketing end of Kickstarter do its thing, but we are producing them prior to the Kickstarter. So we will have all of the physical stuff done so that the initial release game, as soon as it's over, hits both stores and people there. We still have a lot of the details to work out on how our current retail distribution is going to take part in all of it, but that's the plan.
Are you gonna keep going for a while? You're in
No,
a
we
zone
gotta
here?
stop.
Okay.
We can't keep Gabe
I don't
sitting
care.
here when he's...
Keep painting if you want to paint. If you're into it.
I was gonna say that Gabe can take over for me. I gotta stop and get more chicken for the dog.
Oh, yeah. Dog's out of
Chicken?
food, huh?
Lagok. Yeah. I'm down for whatever.
I'm at least gonna finish this guy, so...
Okay.
Cool.
Gabe, you wanna?
Sure.
I know you're all comfy.
It's fine.
Gabe's like, I mean,
I guess I'll
I
trade comfy
was
chair
comfortable.
Bye,
for weird
everyone.
non-rolly blue chair.
Weird non-rolly blue chair.
I mean, you can probably stay there until the end, and then just come over here when it's time to turn off stream.
Ooh.
Yeah.
See, I like the way you
that.
think.
Stay comfy.
I'll stay comfy.
Just read the questions and come over here.
This
if you
could be
need
our
to.
monument
All right.
slogan.
Bye, guys.
Stay comfy.
All right.
See you all tomorrow.
Stay comfy.
Bye, Jen. And we'll see you in the morning.
Everybody say bye, Jen. Bye, Jen.
Bye,
I'm
Jen.
coming over here. It's not like a 20-minute Megalodon and his wife kiss.
Oh,
Damn.
the shade is being thrown.
Damn.
No, I
Chip in on the popcorn machine. She's gone.
We can order it now.
Yep. How much is a popcorn machine?
Gabe.
Did we
Let's
Google
find
it?
out.
Did we actually figure out the cost?
You never got that far.
The cost for cleaning is not worth it, though.
Clean it yourself.
No. Have you cleaned a popcorn machine before?
Nope.
Don't. $150.
For a popcorn machine?
Yep. We could have an R2D2 popcorn machine.
Look, that's cheap enough
That's
that you
cool.
could just throw it away and buy a new one. You have to clean it.
Oh my goodness.
I'm glad you're so frivolous with our money over there. Jeez.
They've got a Mickey Mouse kettle popcorn machine.
Play Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
Megalodon It's about $160 on eBay. I already looked into it.
He was literally going to send one until Jen said she'd find out where he lived.
Uh,
Can you get a Harkins one? Oh. What?
I still may. Gosh darn it.
You can rent a Harkins food truck.
I'm not afraid of her. I live on the East Coast. And she does not like going to the East Coast very often, so you're probably pretty safe.
They have a Harkins popcorn.
She may have a business trip at some
truck.
point in time where you just get a surprise visit, though, so be careful.
Now this is what we're doing.
Now this is what we're doing.
What are we doing?
We're gonna rent a Harkins popcorn truck.
What?
Yep, you heard me. A popcorn truck. That's
How much
awesome.
does that cost?
I don't know.
That sounds like probably not cheap enough. Yeah, I have to be careful if I go to Gamma.
I have befriended the guy that owns the game truck company. So we could get a Harkins popcorn machine, and then we could have him bring one of his game trucks here. He doesn't do the franchise in Arizona where he lives, though, which is weird. But
That'd be cool.
kind of fun.
It could be fun to set up a bunch of tables out in the parking lot. Food trucks. New game launch. Never been to Adepticon. I haven't either.
You will soon.
Fingers crossed.
I'm assuming so.
That's right. You joined us after Adepticon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That is true.
I was at Gen Con, which was fun. That was a
Man.
good time.
It's always going to make me laugh when I remember that Adepticon was literally my first day on the job.
Yeah, it really was.
That's crazy.
I moved here, I unpacked my stuff, I hopped on a plane, and I went to Chicago.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It honestly, it was one of the best ways for me to get to know this, like, part of the crew. Because, like, you spend so much time with your crew at shows like that, like, you really get to know people. So,
Yeah.
like, rooming with Philip, like, I got to know Philip pretty well. And then
I'm sorry.
Jacob and I were all playing
I'm sorry.
games all the time. It's fine. Philip's a good person. I like Philip.
We have a great team. All right, there's Ogre number 3 down.
Maybe on which shows do you go to? Maybe we'll see ya. It'd be cool.
I think Megalodon is going to Adepticon, right? Or is it Gen Con? I don't remember which one you were talking about.
He spoke about Gen Con.
Ah, okay.
Were you at Gen Con this last time?
Yeah, Megalodon. Adepticon is a blast.
Dang. We were all there.
When is Simon Expo?
We didn't know.
We'll be at Gamma.
Mhm.
Beat myself and Kyle.
Oh, in May.
Chuck, you and Jade first. Adepticon's gonna be fun. It's a good show.
It'll be good to see you guys there. No, T. Schmidt, he was not, unfortunately.
Game delay. Message a friend to have them watch how you're painting these since she's trying to learn more about glazes. Oh yeah. It's I just was sitting around yesterday or on Saturday. Sorry, I came up to the shop and built them, And I was like, after I got them built, I was like, these really need base coats, you know. And I was thinking, how do I get like I said, how do I get kind of that cave pale skin, but keep some cool color to it? Because I just don't like the way they painted them. They did like, you know, a gray base and then some sort of off-white flesh tone on them, and then they just glazed magenta into all the wrong areas on the box art. And so I'm like, okay, well, you know, I want to have something in that you know, hasn't seen the light kind of skin coloration, but it's a tough one to build up from, because if you're not careful, you can make it look too albino. And I don't know that, while that may fit, I didn't want that, right? I don't want white. I wanted something that still had life and dirty and grungy and filthy, but doesn't go out in the sun very often. So as a base tone, I'm doing this. And of course, the easy way, in my opinion, to get it is to put all the colors that I want to see in the skin underneath and then glaze it over the top. I realize it's a little bit daunting to get your glaze consistent, you know, and as you've watched me today on stream, you know, it probably makes it seem a lot easier than it may be, but it really isn't that big of a deal once you get the consistency of paint correct. You know, I would say that at most this is 2 passes of glaze on the surface, and I'm doing most of that all at the same time, so really just 1. And it's working pretty good. I'm very happy with the way it's turning out, so thanks. They still have a lot of really neat colors in them. The next step needs to be for me to put base coats on everything else, because there's so much when you do a loud underpaint like this with the magenta, the purple, and the bright yellow green. Stuff like the leather straps, even though these guys don't have a lot of details on them, everything they do have that's detailed throws off the way the skin really looks because of that bright yellow green.
See you, Jade. Have a good night.
Night,
See you,
Jade.
Chuck.
Factored in there, but I think the purple did its job perfectly with the magenta, and then the bright yellow green just gives me that kind of bruised, jaundiced feel in the highlights. And then we'll go 1 step higher with highlights, which I'll probably go with something like a mix of red, gray, and tan flesh, maybe. So it has a little bit of pinkishness in it. And see how I like it. I'll play around with colors and see what mix is going to make the most sense. But so far, so good with this. I like it. Hey, wait, you paint models here? No. Say it isn't so.
We don't do that.
The only nerds paint models. Glazing magenta in all the wrong areas. Feels like an autobiography title. Megalodon says, you going to do any tattoos? Lots of real estate to work with. On these guys? Probably not. I always think with models like this about things like the Urukai, you know, the white hand tattoo, because I always feel like a bloody hand slapped on their chest would be kind of neat. So I might do something like that.
That'd be cool.
You know, or like 3 blood stripes on their chest or something, like they
Yeah.
have war paint.
Yeah, I like
almost,
that.
rather than tattoos.
Doing
I don't feel
like
like these
what they
guys
did.
really do tattoos. I don't feel like that's a thing. I read the backstory in the book, and these guys are literally like completely insane with this never-ending hunger. These are the ogres that have fallen victim to some never-ending hunger. Like, they cannot be satiated when they eat. They never get full. So you play ogres.
Yeah, I don't know any of their lore though.
It's in the Maw Tribe's book, but yeah, it's something about how even though they eat and never stop gorging themselves, they never feel like they've actually eaten. So put the Monument Hobbies logo on their chest. Make marketing happy. You're kind of looking at marketing.
Yeah.
You are really looking at marketing.
Minus
right
Jen, and ain't none of us going to put M's on the chest of gorgers. We'll definitely think about like war paint style stuff. I think it definitely makes sense for them. So we'll see. But I'm digging them. They're neat, fun models, right? So the thing that got me, I mean, GW really nailed it when they created these, because they were the kind of models that when I look at them, I'm like, okay, that's a neat war band. It's 5 very distinct models. And they're all big, so it fits my need to not have to paint a lot. Because the other warbands that I looked at that I really enjoyed were going to be like 12 to 15 models for Warcry.
Yeah, they have a lot of
They keep
really
making it
high
bigger.
volume.
They keep making the size of the units bigger.
Yeah, they used to be just all small, right? I felt like it was like you could get warbands that were like, 5 Khorne Berserker type dudes, and now they're back up to 12 to 15 models, and they're all little dudes, and I don't know. When they came out with this, I was like, done. Pete says, so Black Friday is fluorescence. Have you already stated when the non-oil stuff is launching? Same day. So Black Friday is going to be a big one because it sees the I can't believe it's not oil wash, noosh in stock. It sees fluorescence and the return of clippers. We've redesigned our clippers.
Snap.
Right? We've redesigned our clippers, which I used all weekend, on the production models of them, to do these ogre models. And they are fantastic. They give you a great... We cut away over half of the material on the box end of the cutters. And there was not a single area on that tight real estate GW sprue that I couldn't get in and make a clean cut. Right, on GW sprues, a lot of times you have to like rotate the sprue around, but there's not, because they're so thin, they get in everywhere. So there wasn't a single area where I couldn't get in and make the clip without having to rotate the sprue, other than to find the right angle to get in on it like this. But even a one like that's on the high side, I can get in there and clip that. And I say on the high side because of where the model touch point is above the plane of the sprue on some of these, and you could still get into it like this. Boop. You could still get in to clip it without interfering with the model. So
that's pretty nice.
Really nice to not have to turn it around like this, and you can't see the front details. So what do you know you're cutting? You always want to be looking at it from the front if you can. So yeah, so really, really nice to have those done. Those will be back in stock, hopefully, for Black Friday, too. We don't have them yet, so I can't promise that, but I'm hoping that they show up. We got the advanced samples, and we know that they're on the way, so we'll see what happens. But I'm super stoked on having these all ready to go.
Yeah, I was really shocked when you brought them by when Gabe and I were having lunch.
Game delay, yeah. We've had clippers for a long time, and then the factory that worked along with us to design the last set and did all the tooling for us went out of business during COVID. And so we've been scrambling ever since to find a factory that can live up to our quality standards and make the tool we wanted to make. We also took the opportunity to kind of redesign the clippers a little bit, taking feedback from the community. So it's always neat to be able to do that, but it was kind of untimely. We didn't want to. So we've been out of clippers for coming up on a year, I think.
It's been a long
9
time.
months, 10 months.
Yeah.
Feels like a year we haven't had clippers. So it feels like a new product again. So Dragon's Lair in Houston. Time for an upgrade, I'm going to go with. An ungrade.
An ungrade.
All right, gang, we're done here. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hopefully you've enjoyed seeing the noosh on display, as well as watching me glaze over our weirdly magenta and yellow models. This is very reminiscent to what I did years ago with the Poxwalkers for our Nurgle army. Same basic way of coloring, just without using a real flesh tone over the top. So I think it works pretty good to give us that kind of pale, living in a cave type skin. JP Gray thought they looked familiar. That base coat wound up being that way without me even thinking about it. It shows you how sometimes your brain just kind of goes to repetitive tasks. So I was like, I really think I want to do this. I didn't use the bright yellow green on the Poxwalkers. I used a yellow. So the bright yellow green did really neat here to give it a little bit more of a sickly feel with bringing some of the green into play rather than just all yellow. But it's a neat way to underpaint your models and get a lot of color out of them that you can glaze over the top if you're comfortable with glazing. You could also do all the glazing you've seen me do with the airbrush. We didn't talk a lot about that, but by thinning the paint down and spraying it through the airbrush, you can get the whole model done. It won't give you the contrast that I'm doing right now because I'm able to leave it out of the spots, like the deepest purple and magenta spots that you'll see on the back there. So I'm going to gain more contrast this way, but it also takes a lot more build up. So, all right, gang, thank you so much. Remember, we stream 5 days a week at this new time, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Arizona time, if you're ever wondering what the heck Mountain Standard Time means. Monday through Friday, 2 to 4. So we'd love to see you back here. If you're new, make sure to hit that follow button. And you get 5 chances a week to catch up with us. Also, check out all the links that Gabe threw up in chat there. The store will get you over to all of the products that we make, our Pro Acryl paint, all of our Pro Series brushes, and everything you've seen us use on stream, as well as the FLGS link will take you to find the close store by you. Like Adventurers Guild and Etten Games and Dragon's Lair and all of those places around the world that carry our stuff. So you might have a store that's right down the street where you can go try out Pro Acryl for yourself. We'd love that you would. And then make sure to drop by the Discord channel. We have thousands of amazing painters just like yourselves, talking paint, food, pets, 3D printing, you name it. Great community to come hang out with, make friends, and discuss the hobby at your leisure. So we hope to see you in all those cool places. Stick around. We're going to find somebody to raid, so show some love in the channel we wind up in, and we look forward to catching you back here tomorrow. Adios, gang.
Bye.